All right, so today, after much delay, trying to figure this out, we're going to try and set up the connection between the stepper motor that's going to control this. This is a replacement part for a 3D printer, but it's a NEMA motor, NEMA17. And it's got 2 coils, I believe, if I understand right. I may not. But the idea is that the juice going to these coils, produces the torque that turns it around. Now, for some reason, on all of the data sheets, these pins are not specified. So you have to figure that out. So I've got a cord. So this end is going to go into the motor. And it does have a, one way that it goes in like that. And they were kind enough to put a little tag on it so that you can keep the orientation of the plug. So if I plug this in and I take the other end, so you see we got the same tag here, keep the same orientation. And ideally what should happen is if you take the jumper, stick it in there correctly. All right. And let's just stick it right into this one right here. Now, if I go to spin this, since if it's the same coil, it's going to be hard to spin. And I should have done that before. Let's see. Okay, so that's about the same as whether it's on or off. So let's go to the next one. I feel like those should be going in deeper. What's going on here? Okay, and I go to turn this, and that's much harder. Okay, so these two, this one and this one, are the same coil. And I should be able to then confirm that by sticking this guy in there and this guy in here. Let's take that out. Same thing, very hard. Okay, so knowing that, then we get to the really fun part. Reading tiny print. Let's go ahead and get right on in here, see if we can. Okay, so for the tiny print, this is a driver. This is an A4988 driver. So ground, voltage in, B1, A1. B1 and A1 are the same driver for a coil. A2 and B2 are the same driver for a second coil. So coil 1, coil 2. I hope I understand that correctly. So then ideally what we should be able to do is plug B2 and A2 in there. So we're gonna make this coil 2, again, because it's separated. So that's gonna be coil 2. Okay. A and B. For coil 1. So that's gonna be, here we go. This is so fun being just barely able to see this stuff. And I'm still hoping I understand any of it. No more irritating than not being able to see what the hell it is I'm doing, but. Okay, so we now have the driver portion. Sleep and reset, we jump to each other. So if we go back into ultra zoom, we've got that's sleep right there? No, that's step. Right, so that's direction, and that's step, and this is sleep. And then right next to it, I'm gonna put the reset. Okay. Yay, I think that makes some sense. All right, now we need to do power. Now there's 2 different powers. The power to the motor is going to come through these drivers, and so we need to get power to the drivers, and for that we need a 100 microfarad capacitor to go in between a 12-volt supply. So this is going to be our 12-volt supply going. Try and keep the convention of black and red for positive and negative, negative and positive, whatever. Red, positive, black, negative. And then in mocking this up, it was easier to put this on a jumper. But let's see, the stripe is the negative. I already broke the color convention. So this is going to be negative. And this one's going to be positive. I guess I should be calling this the ground. Is that 2B? Yes. So that's ground. No. That is ground. All right, I'm glad I can see this. And then this is going to be our volt in. Boy, that's irritating how that doesn't work sometimes. All right, so theoretically, if I were to give this juice, we could turn this, but obviously we need to have the control inputs and the power from the Raspberry Pi. We also need to attach a radiator to the control chip, so we're not close to being done yet. So we're going to do a 10 microfarad in between the power supply from here into that one, but we're going to do it off of this branch, obviously. So we can keep this to be the 12 volt, this will be the 5 volt. 5 volt in there, and then we'll also have the control for the step and the direction. And then we need I'm not sure about the speed settings just yet. Eventually that's going to have to come in there. I have not yet figured out. I mean, I've got them all listed, but in terms of what the preference is, a lot of people who use these are using them for the NEMA motor. They're using it on an Arduino. So there's a little bit of an adaptation to the Raspberry Pi because it's not considered the ideal, or at least the more common application. So lots of options, have no idea what any of them necessarily mean or how to use them properly, but that'll be the next step. Going through these, assigning it, learning how to code Raspberry Pi so we can actually send signals there if we ever get that far. And which signals are best run through these GPIOs. So that'll be next week's challenge.